So yeah, just because I never actually checked this location on the map, I was never like there was like this big gap in the scene. It's like, oh, I'll go through there on the way, and then I come across this. It's like, okay, I'll do this now. Sure, why not?
Here we go.
Why not, right? I've already cleared away all the elements. And go, go, go. Okay, I'll get some stuff and probably make this a,
That looks like a good rest spot. Ow!
probably make this my last rest spot before going to the thingamabomb. That's the plan, at least.
Ooh, I'm all excited. This has got to be worth a bunch. Shall we try it straight away?
I actually had a few I could create. It feels so rare when I go into the gem menu and I actually have shit
Okay, good as new.
I can, you know, do something with. Either way, I think that's where I'm going to leave it.
All right,
So,
everyone. Time to head out.
time to head out. I have no idea how much of a moment of no return this is. If there is another one, I'll probably go back. Well, I might go back and do another Ascension quest or two before the post game, but we'll see. Ultimately. Into the great unknown of the main story quest marker. And jump! Matt to Origin! Are preparations made for set sail? I should set a save before this, just in case. I do that so often where it's like I'm ready to go do something. And then it's just like, I should probably actually save. You know, just in fucking
Just part of the
case.
protocol, innit?
Been a while since I used that one. Either way. Yes, I am ready to go. To Origin. Yes, let's go. I have no idea if there's like a level that I'm supposed to be at for this. I honestly didn't look that much into it. There's probably a level that I should be for the main story, but
middle of Great Sea. Noah,
Yeah.
please to activate cloaking device.
Roger.
that is a cool effect.
Cloaking activated. No issues yet.
Are we sure this is really gonna work? They're not gonna, like, open fire when we get too close?
Maybe I shouldn't be here if it ends up working to our disadvantage.
We cross bridge when we get to. Anyhow, we small targets, so won't take every bullet.
Riku, you don't seem to be taking this seriously.
If worst comes to worst, we'll try to draw the heat for you. That'll take the wind out of their sails.
Okay. Hey, what's a sail again?
We've made it this far. Just quit worrying. Go with the flow, yeah?
Spark's sake. Talk about carefree.
It's go time. Full power to engine. There be a little drop, so make sure to hold on tight.
Wait, what drop?
Necro warning!
That's fun. You forget how ignorant these guys are sometimes. Like the thing earlier of the Senocide quest, and it's like, oh, we saw all this parenting stuff, and now we're seeing the downsides of. I guess it makes sense. Like the group sees the downside to families. It makes sense as a side quest for them to do.
So you've come. Ouroboros.
So it's just a lower sea down here. Okay. Is that how it is in all the areas? Everything's just elevated.
Check it! The sea's looking funky.
And not only sea,
No, no, no! We're going to get blown away!
We can hold on! Something's coming!
Out on the other side. What is that?
I sense Mobius. Lots of them beyond the vortex. It must be Origin.
So that shadow, that's what we're after!
It's sparking ginormous.
Easily 10 times the size of a castle.
The place where everything began. Origin. The Kavesi Queen is there. Not to mention...
Why even resist when you could simply resign yourself to the flow? The endless now without change. Any resistors will be pacified and return to the perpetual cycle.
Ooh, I see a glitch in your matrix. That's fun. Oh, that's just wildfire, eh? What was that? Where was that? Like, was that one we should recognize? Just firing randomly out and it's hitting the colonies?
Mobius mudders. What are they thinking?
They're even shooting at colonies that haven't been freed.
Taking pot shots now?
They're still their allies. If they lost the plot.
You alive?
Monica!
Just barely. They dropped one of our ships. How are you?
We're holding out here. Bastards. I can't believe they're firing at their own. I thought we were the only ones they wanted gone.
Yeah. If this keeps up, they'll as good as raise the entire world.
They're all about life, aren't they? As long as they have Origin, they can keep on making more of us. For them, this might just count as charging up. Reveling in the final glimmers of our lives.
They want us to flicker out.
When the last light fades, they're planning on starting over. In a world without us.
That's all kinds of messed up.
Can you still look there?
I guess it makes sense. If you can just hit the reboot button at a point, you could. Is everyone fighting back? Everyone's starting to fight back. Good.
Isn't that the Colony 30 detachment?
But that's suicide!
Turn around!
Yeah, there's not much choice, though. Because they're just going to keep shooting until everything's raised. It doesn't really matter if you fight or hide.
Such trauma. So much unavoidable tragedy. In order to preserve the endless now. Fear not, you need not grieve. Lives come back around. In due time, you will all be reborn once again.
That's... Surprised they didn't do it before this time.
Those punks are getting rowdy.
They do seem thoroughly committed to ensuring our deaths, yes.
Maybe they're not even conscious of the whole notion of killing.
How so?
It's like a natural instinct. To them, it's as basic as breathing.
I mean, they've been...
Nice theory, kid, but don't make excuses for him.
I mean, look at how they've been harvesting life. It makes sense psychologically.
All right then. Gondor!
Guess it's time to pull out all the stops. We'll play the decoy for you. You guys gun it, yeah? Go and clear us out a path. A path to give this world a future.
Gondor! We got it! If we're gonna get to the vortex, we'll need your help! Riku! Pass me the controls!
Aye, aye.
Suddenly, with all this
How's the engine doing?
destruction...
Spick and span. Admittedly, we lose some instruments to attack just now, but engine proper is raring to go.
I feel like
Alright, let's punch clear
it
through.
indeed was a point of no
Hold on
return.
to something. It's gonna be a rough ride!
I feel like it was indeed a point of no return after all this destruction is playing out yet. It's like the Indol just gets destroyed sort of situation. But ramped up to 11.
Gondor!
It's just a threat. Keep going. Mind your own ship, Dad.
Distance to vortex rim, 340. Powering shields to max. Noah, when punched through, open throttle to full. We climb up flow in one big swell.
Roger that! We can't take much more!
Get in, Ouroboros.
Over there! The center! Riku! Deploy the ram!
Riku on it.
We've got a clear shot! Here goes!
Man. That's one hell of a Death Star run. Oh, we even ended up in the water. How nice of them to put water in here for some reason. Man, this place looks funky. Like a mechanical... It's like a living machine. How they got the look going on in here. Really does feel like that.
Origin.
Almost like a Pharaonis, huh?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
The original Pharaonis.
This one's the first.
Not just first. I think all Pharaonises derived from this one right here.
Does it have its own flame clock? Oh boy. Welcome to Origin, buddies. Oh, this'll be fun.
So this is what it's like on the inside. It's all just machines and more machines.
I also see trace amounts of the black fog.
Hey, this metal. It's like Noah's sword.
Which makes his sword a lot less special now.
You're right. It is the same.
So it's just a sword that was made of origin metal?
Mio, you know what's in here?
That's ultimately all it was?
Sorry, no.
In the end?
Whenever we teleported, it was always to a large, dim room. I think that was Zed's doing, to keep the location secret.
Well, guess we're searching the old-fashioned way then.
What about the other Mobius? Anything?
About that, it's odd. It's like they're right here beside me, but also far away. I feel like I'm surrounded by them on all sides.
Well, this is the enemy base and all. Kinda makes sense.
Or maybe...
Huh?
Or maybe. The thing I said before about wondering what exactly that thing like in the chest of Mobius was, a piece of origin. The thing that you're sensing when you sense Mobius, other Mobius, is just you're sensing pieces of origin. Maybe. And...
This whole place, floor, walls and ceiling, everything here could be Mobius.
Is it them?
No. The transmission pattern's different. This feeling. It's like it's calling to us.
You think it's the Kavesi Queen?
Maybe.
Where then? Can you tell?
Below.
Do we go, Noah?
Yeah, let's go. It's all been leading to this.
That it has.
Huh? This is new.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z! Actually, this is actually a good time for me to end it. For now.
Hey, can we take 5?
Canon of the Bravery. Sure.
I'm
So...
starving. Got anything I
Oh,
can
just like
eat?
literally just go in here. So, here's the test.
Let's keep things on a tight loop.
How actually fucked is our ability to go somewhere else? Completely not really at all. Got it. Okay. That's fine. We just unlocked a new area. No, I'm going to continue on the origin stuff for a little bit. At the very least, despite that destruction, it looks like everything we ever cared about is still just perfectly fine. Which, you know, it's fine. Not a bad thing necessarily.
That's gonna be a
I
tough
think we
fight.
gotta leg it. You gotta face
Death. And hello and welcome back. It's been a little bit again. Yeah, now it's interesting when you spread out moving over a long period of time instead of just like spending several days. Part of the problem is I've never really like moved proper. So my apartment currently just has all the shit. And I'm trying to work through every little thing. All the random junk that's piled up over the years. And, you know, I need this. How do I move this over? Etc. 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 I'm not like hiring a company to do it. Etc. 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 Okay. Basically, holidays, all that stuff. Busy times. And let's get back into it. Why am I making excuses on that? Doesn't actually matter that much. Either way, not too far for
Is
a.
everyone all right?
I'm full of beans thanks to somebody's piloting skills.
I guess one thing worth mentioning is I did start putting episodes up before recording this. And some people were mentioning about how the idea that the concept for the worlds coming together is like matter and antimatter coming together. And I'm not immensely familiar with all that, so I can't speak on that in any capacity, I suppose. For that element of it. It's just not an element of
We'll be fine. Just don't be a clod.
science I'm super familiar with. And down goes the mobs. What the fuck were those
What the
things?
spark were those things?
Give or take. Yeah, they just saw something collapse. They sort of look like the metal. Were they just like animated versions of the metal?
They fall apart the moment we take them down.
I mean, ultimately, this is, for lack of a more appropriate term towards my experience in the series, at the very least, this is basically a big Monado machine. This is basically a let's make anything we want to be real sort of machine. So all bets are off. Basically anything that we can conceive of that would be manipulating either in some capacity, right?
The black fog is gone too.
They're not mechanical, but neither are they biological.
Something wrong, Mia?
As they fell, I could feel it, very slightly. A vague whiff of Mobius coming off them.
Again, I would be willing to bet that Mobius smell is basically the origin element. And we talk about like that little thing in the armor that we've seen so many times.
Those things?
It's probably part of that too.
What's that mean?
I'm not sure.
Mio, didn't you say before all this could be Mobius?
Yeah.
Are you trying to say those things might be Mobius as well?
But they don't even look human.
I think the shape might not matter so much.
Huh?
I think I'm starting to get the picture.
Well, Mobius probably just means like, how did I say it in Xenoblade 1? It's like an administrator key, right? I think Mobius is basically the same idea as that, right? Where it's like, it's an administrator key to be able to use to be able to mess with the source code of the world, that sort of thing, right?
I feel like I know what Mobius is.
I would come to think that it's very similar as that. Maybe Zed has the biggest power, but...
You who wield the sword of the end. The endless now is under threat of being cut short. Could you do it, I wonder? Could you slay the ones who advance relentlessly toward despair? You do, after all, desire eternity above all others. Now, take it in your hand. For the endless now, for that which you so desire.
Yeah, I mean, he's sort of way too deep in for him to be able to... for him to have any other choice, right?
Whoa, check this place out.
That would... for him to have another choice, would it be him admitting that everything he's done was not worth it? Which is probably the hardest thing that you'd be able to get anyone to admit, right?
Off we go.
That all their effort, all that time they spent thinking, understanding, considering things as the truth of their existence, the truth of the world's existence, the things that they used to decide all those important things were wrong in some way. That's the hardest thing. And I think that's, like, even in the real world, that is just the hardest thing to deal with in terms of, like, trying to get anyone on the same page. To get people to agree on a concept of what is truth, even. When they choose to believe in truth, that specifically rationalizes their actions. Because no one makes choices without believing they're in the right? So ultimately, what it comes down to isn't who's right and who's wrong. It's a matter of, can you create a scenario to demonstrate someone's view is so demonstrably wrong that they can't deny it anymore, right? The idea that they could be wrong is the first step to convincing anyone, because that's ultimately the biggest trick of any situation where, yeah, I'm not phrasing it well, but I think you probably get what I mean. Oh, so many enemies. Okay, I think I might just start running through them. Hey, look, a ladder, the ultimate deterrent in enemy combatants, via the simple idea of, they don't care if I'm on a ladder, I don't exist anymore. Still definitely feels like they're going, yeah, the not machine and not organic. That definitely does feel like the vibe they're going for, so like a growing machine. Like a machine that can, grow and evolve and all that sort of stuff.
Shall we deal with
At the very least, that does feel like the intent of what they're going for. Man, this place is huge. Engine-looking stuff, too. What is the point of this being so big? I know dungeon, but I'm just like thinking from like a lore concept of what this is. What do all these different elements... I mean, it could have... She did mention that it could have just been changed inside since then.
Who knew this whole great thing would be under the Central Sea?
Was it under? Well, it's really more inside rather than under, but... Trying to identify... It doesn't feel like there's a massive familiarity with, like, the enemies and whatnot out and about in the world. I suppose, like, the humanoid ones look like the various Agnes and Kevesi factions. We've seen bats before. We've seen some, like, big flying things like that other one. But we haven't necessarily, like, the spiders. I guess they look like spiders. I don't think there's enough to make a strong connection between everything. There's definitely some familiarity between it all. Because the whole idea is that this is basically... Oh my goodness, okay, how do you do? You go down, okay. Didn't see that. The whole idea is that there's basically data of all living things, right? And that's where... And Origin just recreated those lives with the data of what they were before, right? That's sort of the idea.
I'll deal with you all at once.
So I'm thinking it through, like, how much of it is exactly actually that, right? How much of these Origin is just the data leaking out or something?
We've been spotted.
The data being repurposed, even.
Ready or not?
Arrival in new area confirmed.
Oh boy. Okay. Good thing I can, Good thing I can fucking, rail grind on, like... lasers? Holograms?
So much to see, huh?
Veronicas. Were they created inside Origin?
Kevesi and Agnian ones together. Snuff me.
Well, I imagine... Well, I don't know. I would assume that's the reason nothing can destroy them except for the sword. It's just... It's a material that's outside the realm of the rules of the game, basically. This doesn't... It's weird. It doesn't feel like a manufacturing plant outside of there just being a little stage to see that little face on, right? Little itty bitty face. Itty bitty bitty face.
Are Gondor and Monica going to be okay?
Oh no, they're already dead.
We need to focus on what we have to do.
Well, that's very true. It doesn't matter really what their status is. We're just sort of left in a state where we have to worry about what we can worry about, yeah? As
Over there.
sensible as that
We should be able
sounds.
to move ahead.
Yeah.
We won't get much further this way.
We should locate some device that'll reverse the direction it spins.
Okay. Thank you for telling me what was going on, because I didn't even notice that, like, wall in the way. I assume this will reverse the direction it spins. Because it would be weird if it didn't at this point. Yep. Huh.
What kind of place
Seems
is
like
this?
there's two directions I can go. Two very different directions I could go, maybe. There's also that, which isn't even a named enemy, so I'm just gonna go ahead and avoid it.
Never been here before.
I have so many fucking landmarks in here.
This is our first time here, isn't it?
Where are we even headed? Elevator. What is... That looks like 1,000,000 billion core crystals, and I'm not sure if that's relevant or not. I mean, you had a similar concept as... You know, it really is sort of just like a similar concept to Xenoblade 2, where it's just preservation of the data in some form to recreate something that was disappearing, right? Okay. Explored around a little bit more in that area, and
Hey, did you guys hear something?
let's do this then. No. Just the music. Wait, are you guys hearing the music too? I would assume not, but, you know.
Stretch my trap.
Okay, that was harder than I was giving it credit for.
Huh?
Oh my goodness.
This is new.
Eternal Prison. That's a fun name. Yes, the Everlasting. Let's get super duper into the Everlasting. It's totally not going to be a self-proclaimed prison. Yeah, I feel like we're gonna go into a boss fight. Oh right, I forgot we were also looking for her. Honestly, it's been a while since I thought about that. I hope she's just sleeping. Not, I guess Nia said she was aware of everything still.
Man, that's our queen. Melia.
That's vile. How could they do this to her?
With all we've seen of Mobius, I'd put nothing past them.
We have to release her.
Yeah. Took you long enough. I know that voice. It's N.